Welcome back to the Cover 2 Zone, the first review show of the year. Football is back. We've had week one in the books. It's just so good, isn't it, Eden, to have football back. Red Zone was back on a Sunday. All of the controversy around the adverts. I actually didn't see one on British TV. It was okay in the end. So I don't know whether they're warming us up to it. And in week four, we'll just be watching and thinking, oh, they've changed their mind, and bang, there comes, Geico or something like that.
I understood the uproar about it, but I think I saw that it was only going to be 4 commercials, that 30 seconds a piece. So we're talking 7 hours, 2 minutes of commercials, and they've probably gotten a shit ton of money for it.
Yeah, so, but it's the greed and the point of the show. If you want to hear my opinion on that,
I've heard your opinion.
You can hear my rant on it. I stand by it. Hopefully they've changed their mind, or we just are not seeing it on British TV for whatever reason. Anyway, it was so good to have football back, and what a week it was. It was some unbelievable games in there, some questions answered from the off season already, some teams that we thought would be good have proven that they're good, some teams that we thought were bad or would be bad are looking not so bad, and there's some teams that we thought would be okay looking absolutely awful, which we'll come on to. But
who would that be?
I don't know. I couldn't think of any. Who would support a team like that? Anyway, but half of the show we're going to be reviewing some of the games from week one, and then in the second half of the show we'll go on to preview some of the games in week two. So starting off with undoubtedly the game of the week, and we headed into week one as this was one of the big games on the docket. Sunday primetime football, Buffalo against Baltimore. This had everything, didn't it, of a week one game that we might see. I asked you the question last week, is this the AFC Championship game, a preview of the AFC Championship game? Well, I kind of hope it is. Well, I don't, because Buffalo won it, but I hope this is the game and the result goes the other way, because it was an absolute insane game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry almost had 200 yards. It's crazy how he's still going. Obviously, he destroyed my Jags for years and years, so I'm not the biggest Derrick Henry fan, but it's almost a shame that he fumbled there, because it really put a dampen on the game he had. What was it? 2 touchdowns, 175 yards or something.
169 yards, yeah.
Because he lost. He was at 175, and then he lost it with the fumble.
Also had 1 reception for 13 yards as well. So scrimmage yards had 180,
almost at 282.
Yeah.
Wow.
And just insane. Lamar Jackson, 14 from 19, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen, 33 of 46, 394 yards and 2 touchdowns. 33 completions for Josh Allen this week.
Do you have sacks there? How many sacks did he take? Because he probably avoided about 20.
Ravens sacked him once.
Yeah, that was the story of the game. Honestly, he plays some backyard bullshit, and he just makes it work. It's really fun to watch. One of the most fun players to watch.
A early contender for catch of the year as well by DeAndre Hopkins. The veteran has still got it. That was insane, that catch. Late in the game, back and forth game. And, I think that at that point, that put the Ravens up by, 18 points or something like that. I can't even remember what it was, but that catch was absolutely insane. And then we go to 4 minutes left to go in the game. Ravens up by 20 odd points, I think it was, or 18 points. They had something like a 1% win predictor, and they come back and win the game. The Bills yet again against all the odds. They find a way, much to my it just infuriates me as a Bills hater, but I have to acknowledge how good they are at it. And it if you're a neutral of these two teams, it was just one of the best games of football you'll ever see. As I said to you just before we came on, I sent it to a mate of mine who's trying to get into the NFL, and I was like, if this doesn't get you into the NFL, I don't know what will. This game had everything, didn't it?
Yeah, I think I've said it a few times. Josh Allen, after that, I now think he is by far and away the best quarterback in the NFL. And I don't even actually think it's very close. I think Mahomes has fallen off a cliff a bit, and Lamar just cannot do the things that Josh Allen can do. Joe Burrow is fantastic. But Josh Allen is just in a league of his own with Mahomes, and I think he's just taken that step above Mahomes now. He's incredible.
I know what you mean. I wouldn't say Mahomes has fallen off a cliff. I think that's too harsh to say, but like,
fair enough.
I know what you mean in terms
from the level he was at.
It was clearly Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was the guy. He was the poster boy for the league. He was making these insane plays every week, almost like the sidearm throws into the corner for Kelsey, these type of plays. And it does seem now that Josh Allen is viewed as the kind of poster boy of the league, almost. Certainly at the quarterback position. Maybe from last season, you look at Saquon Barkley and the season he had, and the backwards hurdle and stuff like that, and maybe that's a flashier play than Josh Allen makes, and has put him to poster boy status. But I definitely know what you mean. I think, but then at the same time, is Jalen Hurts that guy? Because he's won the Super Bowl. He's less flashy than the others. Maybe
Jalen Hurts is not that guy. I like Jalen Hurts.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, and I wouldn't disagree with you that Josh Allen probably is the best QB at the moment in the league. Just with everything he gives, he can throw bombs downfield. He can run. He can. He has this way of getting away from pressure that is just, I'm screaming at the TV, especially when the Dolphins play them. He's that close, and we're like, I'm just sack it, like, and he somehow gets away every time, and it's just unbelievable. And then not only does he get away, he seems to make something happen downfield. He can get up. He's not throwing it out of bounds straight away, or he's not, running for 2 or 3 yards, or just get back to the line of scrimmage. He's making something happen downfield all the time, and it's just. Yeah, it's just incredible.
He has lived up to the potential. He was drafted because of his ceiling. His floor was absolute dog shit, and that's it's one of the worst kind of viewpoints. I thought he would be horrendous when he got drafted, just because I was like, Wyoming, he's not even good at college. And you completely get why NFL teams just value traits. It's just about traits. 6'5", cannon of an arm, lots of weight, speed. We can turn him into a good player.
He took a few years, didn't he, to kind of warm up, really. His first 2 seasons in the league, probably, he threw quite a lot of interceptions. He'd take the ball, he'd run, he'd fumble a lot.
Yeah.
He'd lose the ball. So he has taken that rawness that he came with out of college, and he's really refined that now into something that is just incredible, and you have to respect it.
Not to go too off the rails, we'll move on to the next thing. But have the Colts given up too quickly on Anthony Richardson then? Because he's got all the traits. That
when you said about traits, that's exactly what I thought of. It is, it's two contrasting stories almost, isn't it? Where I think Anthony Richardson, Josh Allen's had the benefit of health. He's managed to stay relatively healthy in his NFL career. Anthony Richardson is not. And that's a big part of, how can he develop, and how can he really get his feet under the table in the NFL if he's spending so much time injured. So I think that hasn't helped him, but he also hasn't shown the kind of commitment to the role as Josh Allen has. There's been comments about his off-field conduct and his attitude and stuff like that. So I think they are two different personalities potentially, but I know what you mean in that he has all the traits. And
I think he screams of a Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold that goes to another team.
Another team. Yeah. Renaissance under a new core. Maybe. So I'd love.
Although as you're very aware, the Colts were good in week 1 without him. So.
Is it Danny Dimes' redemption in Indianapolis?
Yeah,
who knows? But in terms of this game, they're just finishing off on this game. We kind of touched upon how this game could be an important indicator in. It's fairly likely that these two teams meet at some point later down the line in the playoffs. Is this an indicator for how that goes, or do you think that the Ravens will have learned lessons off this game?
Really boring answer. It's week 1.
Yeah.
We've got so many weeks to go. I mean, Josh Allen could get hurt and then Bills are out of the playoffs. I know you'd love that. But if everything stands as it is and the Bills are playing the Ravens, I think the Bills have the mental edge over the Ravens just because it's
that's happened. What I mean. That's what I mean. Do the Ravens have that kind of fire in their belly, that vengeance? That this is a game they should have won. This is a game they should have comfortably seen through. 4 minutes to go, up by 20 odd points or whatever it was. I can't remember off the top of my head now. This was a game they comfortably should have seen through and didn't. Derrick Henry fumbles, rare mistake from him after having such a great game. And they really snatched defeat from the jaws of victory in this one. And do you think that's fire in the belly next time, that, you know, if they get into a similar position, they get ahead in this game, that they absolutely do not let this happen again?
Kind of viewpoint.
Well, it's weird because
kind of viewpoint.
The Bills are to the Ravens what the Chiefs are to the Bills.
Yeah, just that, and what the Bills are to the Dolphins. Just that hurdle in the way, that prison wall that you just cannot climb. You got the biggest rope available to you to hike it over the top of that wall, and you just every time somebody
it's like football. There's bogey teams. People have bogey teams. It's just in this instance that people's bogey teams are some of the best teams in the NFL. And so they're always going to be competing in the playoffs. I think, for example, Jacksonville is Pittsburgh's bogey team. We often beat them.
How many minutes in are we and you've mentioned Jacksonville?
Right, moving on.
Yeah. Swiftly moving on to another of probably the best games that we saw this weekend, the Steelers against the Jets. And before we talk about this game, I am going to get my flowers for predicting exactly what happened. I said that Aaron Rodgers would do something quite mad to the Jets fans. There would be a bit of saltiness there. I said, I'm not sure if American footballs do the cupping of the ears celebration. He walks off, gives them a little bit of this, even though they won by a field goal, and they won by a field goal. Chris Boswell with an insane, 54-yard field goal or something to win the game. Unbelievably clutch. And if you would have seen, you probably would have seen the reel that I instantly made as soon as somebody sent me that photo of Aaron Rodgers cupping his ears. For 20 minutes, half an hour, did not watch the early part of the late window. I have no idea what went on in the first quarters of like the Seattle-San Francisco game, because I was just making this me getting it right. I predicted it exactly. And if week one's anything to go by, listen to this podcast and take my takes, because full knowledge is here. Full knowledge is here.
You deserved your flowers for that. Absolutely. I mean, you did get it completely spot on.
But let's talk about the game. What a game again. Back and forth, offensive shootout. It was unbelievable. It just seemed, the Jets would go down and score, and then the Steelers would score back. There wasn't much defense in this game. Which is
really weird, because I thought it would be a slugfest because it's two really good defenses.
some of the stars came out to play in this game. I mean, Justin Fields 16 for 22, 218 yards and a touchdown. Breece Hall ran for 107 yards. Garrett
What
Wilson,
did Fields run for?
Justin Fields ran for 48 yards and 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns.
So 4 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. I mean, Garrett Wilson, 95 yards on 7 receptions and a touchdown. Breece Hall also had 38 yards off 2 receptions as well. And then for the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, 22 of 30, 244 yards, 4 touchdowns. Fair play to Aaron Rodgers. Jaylen Warren ran for 37 yards, so not too many there. But Gainwell had a lot of carries, 7 carries for 19 yards. So, not huge numbers there. But DK Metcalf really grew into this game, didn't he? He had kind of a sloppy start. He dropped a bad one early on and then ended up with 4 receptions for 83 yards. Calvin Austin, 70 yards off 4 receptions with a touchdown. And then Jaylen Warren, Ben Skowronek and Jonnu Smith with touchdowns as well in this game. So, a lot of stats across the board there in this game. And it was just a shootout, wasn't it? It couldn't keep pace with it.
I loved the attitudes from both teams. And I think we can expect that probably more from the Steelers throughout the season than any other team because of just the types of players they have. And for example, I mean, I'm not the biggest Jalen Ramsey fan, but him and Garrett Wilson were getting into it at halftime. And then, he just...
And I can't remember who the commentator was, excuse me, but he said, that is a Pittsburgh Steelers play right there. The hard hit to end the game, that is Pittsburgh football. And I completely agree with him. Jalen Ramsey was, he's not had his best years in Miami really, but he kind of showed what a good player he was with that hit at a key time. Clean hit as well, perfectly clean hit, great hit. Yeah, so
I think we should expect that the Steelers won't give up that many points on a per week basis, nor score that many points. I think that was the strangest thing of it all.
We expected this to be a defensive battle, right? And it was completely the opposite.
But honestly, if that's what the offense is going to look like, coupled with this defense, Aaron Rodgers' leadership, and then that's what we spoke about it, Mike Tomlin just being a fantastic coach. I think Steelers in the playoffs, what we were saying earlier this year, makes a lot of sense. I think Steelers fans should be quite excited because I would be if I'm a Steelers fan.
I'm tempering my expectation. I'm keeping my feet on the ground with the Steelers yet. I still think Rodgers had something to prove going back to New York.
Yeah, true.
For everything that happened. I don't think he produces that every week. Arthur Smith is a dinosaur and a stone in football. I don't think they get this level of performance every week, but in this game, they did look very good. Another player I also thought looked very good in a new team was Justin Fields. And this could be a really good landing spot for Justin Fields in this offense. He looked a lot calmer in this game, no interceptions thrown. He used his legs to score 2 touchdowns a lot, so he's got that dual threat back and he looked good passing the ball as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said it on our last episode. I want to see the Jets be Ravens light and utilize Justin Fields and put him in the best position to win because there is a lot of talent in there and we've seen it. And the Jets run game is going to be very, very nice. You've got Justin Fields. Breece Hall looked incredible after kind of being fairly disappointing last season. And they've got the other 2 running backs, Isaiah Davis and Braylon Allen, who are both also very talented. I think they lean on their run game, keep the mistakes down, because like you said, Fields actually looked quite poised in the pocket. And I don't think their defense will be conceding as many points as it did. I think Aaron Glenn would have an aneurysm if they conceded that many points on a weekly basis. So, I'm expecting actually pretty good things from both of these teams now.
Yeah, it's I think this game is probably an anomaly of how these two seasons is probably going to go. As you said, Aaron Glenn is not going to be happy if he concedes that many points every week, even if his offense scores a similar amount. He's not going to have that. So, yeah, I think it does help a lot with the Jets when, over the past few years, they've had really key injuries. Breece Hall's been injured. A lot of the offensive line has been injured. I know Elijah Vera Tucker's still injured this season, or has got injured again in preseason. So that's a big loss. But their offensive line as a whole is more healthy, and it really helped Justin Fields and the rest. Garrett Wilson had a great game. Now he's healthy, and it just, for the Jets, it seems to make a huge difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But definitely an iconic moment, iconic Aaron Rodgers moment. That was aura. Like, we cannot deny it. Cupping of the year. Came to prove a point, and he proved the point. I mean, he scored 4 touchdowns. That to call him washed after that is.
We'll see. The third game we are going to review is the Friday night game in Brazil. The LA Chargers coming out on top against the Kansas City Chiefs. I predicted this one correct in our predictions. I said that the Chiefs might have a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover. I don't know whether that was the case per se. I just think the Chargers were incredible in this game.
Herbert in particular.
Herbert was outstanding. I mean, Quinton Johnston looked so much better. Just getting the stats up. 79 yards off 5 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Keenan Allen came back to the Chargers fairly recently. I think it was only last week or so, wasn't it? That he signed back with the Chargers, and he had a great game. 7 receptions, 68 yards and a touchdown. Lad McConkey again, 6 receptions, 74 yards, so a decent show in there. And then Amarian Hampton on debut, 15 carries for 48 yards. Not too bad against a Chiefs defense. But Justin Herbert, 25 completions from 34, 318 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, just outstanding quarterback play. He didn't really put a foot wrong in this game, did he? And then the Chargers defense looked excellent in this game.
Kind of viewpoint.
Focused more on their offense. Quentin Johnson, I'm not sure he does seem to have these random blow up games where people are like, oh, I'm all in on Johnson, and then it backfires heavily, especially in fantasy. I think the 2 touchdowns were just drag routes, running across the middle. But no, Herbert looked fantastic. There's no denying that. And although I don't think they're going to throw the ball as often as they did last week, because they're under Harbour. I think they lean more on their run game, and I think that's what we should expect for the rest of the season. But fantastic performance against a really good team. So you were correct.
In terms of the division, then, I've obviously backed the Chargers to win this division. I said that this game could be key in deciding the division because I think it will be close. Has that shifted your thoughts on this division? Do you think it's still the Chiefs division?
No, because the Chargers are cursed. They are a cursed.
You think it's still the Chiefs division?
Kind of viewpoint.
Or have you been more impressed by the Broncos and the Raiders potentially as well? Probably not, but
kind of
I'm going to stand by my prediction. It's only week 1. I think the Chiefs have shown time and time again to get the job done, and I think this will really piss them off. So, be interested to see how they come back. How they come back and fare next week. Who are they playing next week?
The Chiefs are playing the Eagles, which we'll preview later on in the show. So, pretty brutal start for the Chiefs, to be fair. I mean, if they lose this game against the Eagles, I mean, we'll come on to it. But that's 0-2, and then the Chargers have got the Raiders, which after week one, you'd probably think that the Chargers will beat the Raiders. But so yeah, it could be 2-0 for the Chargers, and it could be 0-2 start for the Chiefs, and that kind of Super Bowl. Then you are really chasing your tail a little bit, but you get down 0-2 and you're chasing again. It does put that pressure back on, doesn't it?
Imagine the Chiefs in the wild card spots, and you're the other team that has to play them in the wild card games. You'd just be pissed. You'd be like, "Yeah, of course, the Chiefs."
It depends. If you get a home game, then why wouldn't you fancy your chances as a divisional winner?
So a perennial winners. It's like Manchester United back in the day, and the New England Patriots. It's just they somehow get it done, and until
but then you potentially don't have to. If you're somebody like the Texans, for example, right? If the Texans win that division and they have to play the Chiefs at home, you then don't have to go to Kansas City in the snow, or Buffalo in the snow, or if you're in the NFC, you don't have to go to Lambeau in the snow. Where you have more favourable weather conditions to your team, and we know. Well, I know more than anyone how teams can play differently in different weathers. You can be one team in one weather and another in another type of weather. So, no, week one, let's keep it on the floor for now. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs, even if this was a big win for the Chargers.
And fantastic prediction once again.
Thank you. I'm trying not to brag about it. I'm trying not to say how much guru I am, but. Yeah, let's go back then to Thursday night, first game of the NFL season, Philly against Dallas. And this game started off with Jalen Carter spitting at Dak Prescott and being ejected before a snap had even taken place. What were your thoughts on? And it's come out now that Jalen Carter has been suspended for one game today. That's been released, or yesterday. What were your thoughts on that whole incident and the suspension, and what should or should not have happened to Jalen Carter?
I don't think Jalen Carter was drafted because he has a good character or a high character. I mean, he dropped in the draft. I can't remember the specific reason, but it was something off field.
Drag racing, an incident with drag racing where somebody had been killed, I think.
So this isn't someone who
kind of viewpoint
is
going to win
risk aware, and we all make mistakes and are stupid, especially when we're young. But not surprised by the actions. Pretty disgusting to spit on a human being. Full stop. So. Arguably, he should be suspended for more games because it's a terrible precedent to set for a lot of young athletes in the States and around the world, really. So, yeah, that's my thoughts.
I thought it was a complete disgrace. I think spitting on somebody, and I know Dak kind of spat at the floor before him.
I think that's clutching at straws when people.
Yes, no, absolutely. I'm just saying. I know. It wasn't just completely unprovoked from Jalen Carter, but to spit on somebody is the ultimate sign of disrespect. Most people would rather be punched in the face than spat at. It's just absolutely. It's just incredible. It was just such a brainless thing to do. Like, how do you not? Especially, we talked about Jalen Carter. He's had these character concerns, right? He dropped to 9th overall because of these. Everyone, there's no doubt about his talent. He's been a steal for the Eagles, dropping to 9 in that spot. But I heard the NFL, the ESPN guys talk about it, Stephen A. and stuff like that, talk about it, and I think they're absolutely right. Is everyone had forgotten about Jalen Carter's character concerns up until now. Everyone was talking about how good a player he was and how well he was going to do and how much of a monster this guy's going to be in the league. Potentially overtake Myles Garrett as the best defensive player in the league. Now, all that everyone's talking about is bringing back those character concerns that they had before he was drafted. He's put himself in this position where people are judging him not on his ability, but his character, his matureness, his temperament for something that's so stupid as well. And then to make it even worse, I was watching that was Thursday night. Saturday night, I was watching the Florida Gators game, watching us lose to USF, and late in the fourth quarter, one of the Gators players spits at a USF player. So this has happened, and I was so angry at that. It was just that was even more brainless than Carter. It was just completely unprovoked. Gave up a 15-yard penalty, obviously for a personal foul that put USF in position. They went down, scored, and won the game. So they won that game based on basically that penalty. And I know Jalen Carter didn't, it happened before the play had even been made, but he's seriously let his team down. I think one game is incredibly lenient. I think he should have been at least 2 games. I probably would have gone 3 because
just to send a message to youth in general.
What was the NFL remit being about in the off season? Sportsmanship. Yeah. You get, and we get a game where a snap hasn't been played yet of the season, and you get somebody spitting at an opponent. As you said, like kids watching around the world, young aspiring athletes and NFL players watching one of their heroes spit on another man. It's just a disgrace.
Not to divert too much, because I know we've got other games, but the NFL has the strangest barometer for any sort of suspension or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about turn the other way when someone punches a woman or kind of very serious crimes, killing someone. There's been plenty of murderers in the NFL. But for example, and I know it was more than weed, and there is more to this, but Josh Gordon was continuously suspended. One of, honestly, is the biggest what ifs in the NFL. Would have been an absolutely incredible player, but it was, as Stephen A. Smith said, stay off the weed. Like it's ridiculous. Like he should have been able to kind of get the help and not been lambasted the way he was. And I just find the NFL so strange.
The NHL has it right. They have their rules, and they're obviously trying to clamp down on dangerous hits and stuff like that. And sucker punch. Well, sucker punch, that's only really happened once, and the guy was banned for life. But so stick infractions, stick injuries, bad hits. They got if they're found guilty of a really nasty hit, that's 20. They got 20 games at least. 20. And I know it's obviously. Can't do that in the NFL. In the NHL, there's 82 games, so it's like a quarter of the season. But make it proportional, right? If you've got 17 games, if you're going to ban him for a quarter of the season, that's got to be 3, 4, maybe even 5 games. Like
I don't mind, like if you're overly physical on a football field. I don't mind if you excessively celebrate in terms of just a touchdown. Like, obviously, there are levels to this. Like, for example, I don't know if you like Georgia. I watched it the other day. Georgia running onto the field against the Gators back in the day. Like the whole team. So that is over the top, and that is beyond poor taste. Teams running up scores is poor taste, but there's certain things just from a human level, you just do not spit on another human being. End of. And one game is not nearly enough.
And I've heard people say, "Oh, well, he's a young guy. He's made a mistake. He came out in the media and he apologized." That's not a mistake. He's not mistakenly spat. You've chosen to spit at somebody. You've chosen to do it. It's not like he's mistimed a hit and gone to the head, or like when Shazier got injured. It's not, or who's the Bengals guy who's always in trouble for
Vontaze
Perfect. I feel some nasty hits in there that you would go, okay, he shouldn't be doing that. He's like that you can kind of. Okay.
I mean, it happened in the game. I don't know the name. The Cowboys lineman who absolutely gave the DN. I don't know if you've seen the clip. Genuinely a left hook.
Can't remember now.
Oh, I'll send you. He genuinely punched it. It was a proper physical game, and I love that side of it. But spitting is just keep that shit away from.
It's a choice, isn't it? It's a choice, isn't it? It's not a mistake. It's a choice that he's made to do that, and in my opinion, he should have at least 3 games. But moving on to the actual game itself, eventually we did get going, but this game was hampered by a huge delay with the weather, which we saw a few times over the weekend, and it's very annoying. But as we move into the autumn months, that will become less as you come out of the kind of high season of high pressure, especially in like the likes of Jacksonville, where it's warm and the pressure's high. That will happen less, we hope, anyway. Yeah. But it did change the game, didn't it? And the Eagles come out on top in this game, 24-20, and the Cowboys, looked pretty good in this game. I thought, for everything, all considered, I think tough game going up against the Super Bowl champions. You've just traded Micah Parsons in the week. There's a lot of talk over that. There's a lot of talk over the head coach, which we've seen. Was it not evident that from the Cowboys that they did trade Micah Parsons though? Jalen Hurts had all the time in the world. Yeah. He did. But I thought it was a good showing from Dallas, and I thought the Eagles were a little bit underwhelming, if I'm being totally honest. They grew into the game, and obviously the weather delay did change the game. So it'll be interesting to see the Eagles in full flow when there's no kind of weather delay or whatever. But I thought they weren't great in this game. I think Dallas played, I believe, a too high shell for most of the game. They just didn't want to get beat. They played zone the whole game. They did not want A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith to beat them. And so Jalen Hurts does what he does best, and he takes what the defense gives him. He game manages. He's one of the best game managers, like, in the NFL, if not the best game manager. Give the ball to Saquon, take the flat routes with Dallas Goedert, take what you're given. He had that one deep bomb to Jahan Dotson. That was nice, but I think the Eagles, yes, you could say maybe a bit underwhelming, but I think it has more to do with Dallas just being very preventative in their approach on the defensive side of the ball. They were very reliant on our offense is going to beat your offense and score more points. Yeah, and the stats back up what you said there. Dallas got the most receptions in the game, 7 receptions for 44 yards. A.J. Brown, only 1 reception for 8 yards. Dotson, 3 receptions, 59 yards, mainly getting it on that long, deep throw. Saquon Barkley, 4 receptions out of the backfield for 24 yards. So, as you say, it was Jalen Hurts relying on short and intermediate routes, check down options to Barkley as well. And Dallas did take away those deep threats, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Yeah. Which I think is a smart approach from Dallas. Because you keep the Eagles in a box from, like you say, like it comes across as underwhelming. But what Dallas have done is we're going to let them kill us slowly. Like we're going to slowly bleed out. And we're going to go try and get the sucker punch in, the deep bomb to CD and they kept dropping the ball. CD kept dropping the ball. Go on, let's hear your cherry. Bring me on to CD. I mean, no, I'm not going to be too hard on CD Lamb. I mean, the Cowboys should have won this game. And then I think 9 times out of 10, they do win the game, because 9 times out of 10, CeeDee Lamb does catch those balls. The last one where he has to dive, I think that's a tougher play to make. I think, yes, it is a drop because he got hands to it, but I think that's a really tough play. If he catches that, you're going, wow, that's an amazing catch. But there were at least 2 where 99 times out of 100 he catches those balls, and it moves Dallas 15, 20 yards down the field, even without any kind of yak yardage. So this was a game that Dallas should have won. And CeeDee Lamb, I thought his post-game interview was spot on. I thought it was really mature. He's like, yeah, that's on me.
He was on the first one on the field, next day on the jugs machine. So yeah, I think absolutely right. I think you saw 2 very contrasting professionals in this game, with Jalen Carter showing such a level of immaturity, selfishness to his own teammates, and just a deplorable level of human behavior.
Humility. That's the word I was looking for. Human behavior also works. And then CeeDee Lamb being a fantastic professional. He's had a really poor game. He's not made the plays he should be making. He knows that. He's come out and gone, yeah, that's on me. I've got to have those balls. And then, as you say, next day he's out there working on it. So I have no doubt of CeeDee Lamb's quality, and it was just one of those games for him. And as Jerry Jones said in his interview at the end, if they play like that in a lot of these games, they're going to win a lot of the games. And they were perhaps one of the surprise packages of the weekend.
Yeah. I was pretty low on the Cowboys coming into the season. And I look, they will beat teams through high-powered offense, but
the problem
is that if they somehow sneak into the playoffs, they're getting their ass kicked and they're a first-round exit again.
Yeah, problem is we've seen this before with Dallas, right? Dak Prescott was outstanding in this game. He really showed, and Dak kind of shows exactly what the Cowboys show as a team. Dak does individually. You see games like this where you think, wow, this guy's a great quarterback. And then he'll have a game where it's down here and he'll throw 3 or 4 really bad interceptions. So there's no consistency with this performance. But if he can find some consistency and perform at that level throughout the season, he will win a lot of games with the Cowboys this season. And
he gets a lot of unnecessary. He gets a lot of unnecessary hate. He is actually a very good quarterback.
But he gets it because he has these really inconsistent moments.
Yeah.
Where it's the same with, I suppose, Tua is a kind of similar example where, he's got the most completions. He's got the most accurate completion rate in the league. He's got, he's so good at points, and then he's just down here in other games. And yeah, we'll come to that.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, pal.
No, but he has that's a fact. He had the highest completion rate in the league. Yeah, so I'm not saying Tua is as good as Dak, but I'm not saying that. But anyway, moving on to our last game that we'll run through the other games quickly, but the last one we're going to go kind of in depth to, and perhaps one of the teams of the weekend, you backed them highly, and the other team at the end of this loss, you thought might struggle. And in this game so far, we're in week 1. Your thoughts seem to have a bit of substance to them. Green Bay beats Detroit.
I gave you your flowers.
Green Bay beats Detroit 27-13, and the Packers were outstanding. Before I'll give you your soapbox in a second. I'm just going to put this out there. I don't think this game was so much that the Lions looked bad. I think it was just the Packers looked really, really good.
I think the Packers looked really, really good, and the Lions will not be good. But it comes down to coaching. You've lost 2 coordinators, 2 very good coordinators who have both become head coaches. in the NFL. And yes, they have a lot of talent and they'll probably be okay, but they by far were the worst NFC North team of the week. And it wasn't even close. I think the Bears looked okay. The Bears will obviously touch on it a little bit, but the Bears looked really good to start. And I think, especially considering
kind of viewpoint,
new scheme and all these kind of new additions for Chicago, it will mold into something great. And you could potentially argue the same thing with the Lions. Oh, well, they need time to gel and whatnot. But these players have been together for a long time. So it boils down to coaching. And
kind of viewpoint.
I just think, I think my prediction's right. I just don't think they're going to be all that.
So even with Jared Goff, 31 for 39 for 225 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Now, granted, those,
15 of them went to Gibbs.
20, yes. Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs had 10 receptions for 31 yards. Granted, they were a lot of short passes, probably due to the pressure that Green Bay were putting Jared Goff under. There was relentless pressure all game from that defensive front. But Jared Goff did deal with that fairly well, probably up until the third or fourth quarter when they're chasing the game a little bit more. There was, that he showed his experience, didn't he? And there is a plan with this team that they knew Green Bay were gonna bring pressure. They were ready for that, and yes, it didn't. Green Bay were the better team on the day. That's why they went ahead, and that's why they scored more points. And then the Lions were chasing the game. Now you need more time in the pocket because you need to find receivers downfield and move the sticks a little bit more often and with more urgency. That's when you're susceptible to sacks, and that's where it came, really, in my opinion. I think the Lions will be fine. I'm not worried about them on this showing. However, I was more impressed with how good the Packers looked because on both sides of the ball, they were outstanding.
Oh, yeah. There is a reason why they were my number one team. It just makes sense. They've got fantastic pieces everywhere. I mean, I ranked them number one before the Parsons trade, and now they've got an elite edge rusher. So great defense, great weapons. The quarterback is super underrated.
Yeah, he's really good.
And his name doesn't pop up a lot because he is just kind of it's unfair to call him middle of the pack because he is actually is he a top 10 quarterback?
I think this could be a breakout year for Jordan Love. This showing, I think if he and the Packers play like that, and if they do go on to win this division, they do have a deep playoff run, I think you're right. I think Jordan Love then enters that top bracket of quarterbacks in the league because I agree. He's outstanding. He goes about his work. I think it's mainly maybe because he's more of a pocket passer, and the dual threat quarterbacks like the Jaden Daniels who's come into the league are going to get more of the attention because of just the ability to extend plays. But Jordan Love doesn't need to extend plays because he makes good reads down the field.
And their O-line is just
and you mentioned Micah Parsons. He only played about 22 snaps, something like that, because obviously he's only just arrived. He's still getting used to that defense. So they limited his snaps to, I imagine, just the kind of situations that they put him
get the QB.
Yeah. He's obviously just, when he's come in, they've gone, okay, we're going to put you in these positions on Sunday, go learn this and go practice these plays. And they'll obviously build that up week by week, to which he eventually gets a sack as well. I mean, that defensive front was incredible all game. I mean, Rashawn Gary ends up with a sack. Devontae Wyatt ends up with a sack. And they're a serious 1.5 sacks, for Rashawn Gary, who is turning into one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL. And this is a statement win, I think, for the Packers that they are going to be a really good team this year.
Kind of viewpoint.
And the Lions are going to be
Okay, we have to.
You're not ready to commit to it yet. Okay,
have-
fair enough. Fair enough.
We have 17 more weeks to find
you'll
out.
come around to it. It's okay.
We have 17 more weeks to find out.
Eden was right. It's okay.
By the way, I have not predicted the Lions to win the division. By the way,
I know you haven't, but you did meme me a little bit for my
I have predicted them
prediction.
to finish above the Packers, however, which now I'm going, okay, maybe not. Maybe the Packers look really good, but that moves us on to a nice segue into our preview. Oh, sorry. Before we do that, I'm just going to run through some of the other games that went on across the week. So, Colts, they were good. Dolphins, the Dolphins were not good. They beat them 33-8. We'll talk about the Dolphins. I know you wanted me to talk about the Dolphins.
You don't want to jump in.
No,
we are
not
at
yet.
the hour mark, and that would
Not
probably
yet.
take us to the 90-minute mark.
But yeah, the Colts get a really, really good win. They look super impressive. Your Jaguars look good. Beat the Panthers 26-10. Another rain delayed or weather delayed game. Really good start for the Jags. Kind of what we expected. Panthers struggled a little bit, and the Jags offense looked to be warming up, didn't it?
our running game was really, really good,
Yeah,
and I think
really
we should expect more from the passing game as the season goes on. I think Trevor was okay. There was a few overthrows. His interception was quite unfair. It was. I don't know if you've seen it. JC Horn literally one hand snag interception.
Yeah, I don't think I missed that.
Incredible play, slightly underthrown by Lawrence, but the play, it comes down to an incredible
mid-play. Yeah. Yeah, Saints 13, Cardinals 20. So Saints didn't look as bad as we thought.
Yeah.
This week, Spencer Rattler looked okay in places. Yes, it's the Cardinals. It's not, they're not facing top tier opposition. Good win for the Cardinals. Saints made it tougher than perhaps expected on the road as well, in the Superdome. So a good win for the Cardinals there. Kyler Murray looked pretty good in this game. Marvin Harrison Jr. looked pretty good in that game as well, which will please Cardinals fans. Commanders 21, Giants 6. Pretty fairly routine win for the Commanders in the end. Took a little bit of time to get going.
I don't know. The Giants D-line was so good. So good. They gave Jane Daniels a very, very hard day.
They are the best part of that team, easily. They're the best unit on that team. We saw adding Abdul Carter as well. Now, I think he's obviously somebody, along with Cam Ward, I said it in our chat, where going into this weekend, there was hardly any talk about the 1 and 2 pick in the draft, like Cam Ward and Abdul Carter, unless you're a Giants or a Titans fan. Sorry, 3. Yes, sorry. Travis Hunter went 3. But there was hardly any talk about these guys, especially the number 1 pick. As a quarterback as well. You usually it's all about them, isn't it? But
he looked. I hate to say it, he did look quite good as well. The Tennessee.
Broncos win that one in the end. A bit of a scrappy game. This one, weather affected. Again, there was a lot of rain in Denver. They did have a little bit of time off the field. Titans didn't manage to score any touchdowns. It was 4 field goals. But yeah, I agree. Cam Ward, there was a lot of throws he made that just bounced off his receiver's hands. Right, there's a lot of spare parts on that offense with Tennessee, and I thought the defense for Tennessee did a pretty good job.
But both those teams, I thought, it's a bit of it when you look at turn into it and red zone, you're like, wow, this is a boring game, because it was but it makes perfect sense. Broncos defense is incredible, and the Titans actually have a really good defense, and both their offenses. Broncos is better for sure, but they're not incredible, are they?
It's a tough first game for Cam Ward, isn't it? Going up against probably 100%. The best defense in the league last season on the road. So a weather affected game as well. I don't think it really gets much tougher than that for a rookie quarterback. So decent showing from him, and I think Titans fans will be encouraged by that. Falcons 20, Buccaneers 23. This was a roller coaster game as well. Younghoe Koo missing a pretty pretty makeable field goal, well, a very makeable field goal to lose this game really, or would have taken it to overtime at least. But two teams, we talked about this one, we previewed this one, two teams contending for the NFC South title, and it showed. I think it showed that this title is going to be contested between these two teams. It's going to go back and forth between these two teams because both looked really good in patches and looked poor at times as well, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good game. Quite early on, I thought the Falcons were going to run away with it. Bijan looked incredible. And yeah, I mean, down by the goal line, they really, really struggled at the end. What did you say? Eight?
Yeah, it was the play call in the goal line. I think it was 8 or 9 plays in the red zone where they did have some penalties in there as well, which obviously brought the plays back. But yeah, some really bad efficiency in the red zone by the Falcons. And this has been. It was a problem with Arthur Smith. There were some awful calls in the red zone with Arthur Smith, where you have Bijan Robinson there on the one, and he doesn't give him the ball. He'd opt for some bootleg or some janky play like that. And it wasn't quite the same. I think they were trying to run Bijan outside instead of just running him up the gut and forcing that offensive line. But the Bucs defense, Vita Vea's in the middle there is a tough man to move. So not as easy as that really. But yeah.
The touchdown from Michael Penix to kind of stay elevated in the air and just cross the plane, that was incredible. And he actually did look quite good. So Falcons fans do have stuff to be optimistic about, but I do think the Bucs hold supremo on this division.
So, yeah, Browns 16, the Bengals 17, and a game. 2 missed kicks from the Browns kicker cost them again. It's just so Browns, isn't it? The Bengals in this game, not great, really not great. Offensively, okay. But the Browns defense played well. Myles Garrett was everywhere, 2 sacks in a row, nearly had a third in a row, and nearly forced a safety as well. Really late in the game, Joe Burrow was lucky to get out of the end zone, which end up, if they got that safety, would have actually won them the game in the end. But the Browns it must be so hard being a Browns fan when you just see this.
Yeah, I think the Bengals did a very Bengal thing and started very, very slowly. They deserve to lose that game. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but they always start slowly, so it's not really a surprise. And like I've said, they just are very reliant on their offense, and their defense is pony. So not much more to be said.
Just to run, we'll run through these ones a little bit more quickly. Raiders get the win on the road at the Patriots. Ashton Genty scored his first touchdown as well to get the win 20-13 in that game. 49ers beat the Seahawks 17-13 in Seattle. Another game that could have gone either way, really. Seattle winning for a large part of their Jake Moody missing some kicks as well, and he's been cut by the 49ers now. But some big plays in that game. Rams beat the Texans, close one down in LA, 14-9. 2 pretty good teams, potentially playoff teams. This is potentially a meeting. Well, it won't be a meeting because they're in different conferences. Never mind. But 2 potential playoff teams in that one. And then on Monday night, the Minnesota Vikings come back from behind against the Chicago Bears. A tale of 2 halves, really, this game, where the Bears were really on top in the first half, and then the Vikings came back into this game. JJ McCarthy had a much improved performance in the second half. I thought Caleb Williams looked pretty good throughout this game. The Bears on both sides of the ball on their lines looked much better. The offensive line looked a lot more improved against a Vikings defense that we know is ultra aggressive. And then JJ McCarthy really settled into the game, didn't he?
I thought Caleb Williams at the start of the game, those first drives, I went, oh, wow, here we go. Here's the next superstar in the NFL, because he genuinely looked incredible, rolling out the pocket and all these things. But he doesn't do the simple stuff right, and we saw that kind of more in the second half. Missing wide open receivers. Whereas, JJ McCarthy, on the other hand, at the start of the game, looked like a middle school quarterback. He looked scared for his life. Understandably so. He's the youngest quarterback in the NFL, and first game in a very long time because he had the injury. But you can take a lot away. He should be very proud of himself, to be honest. Like, as a 20-year-old kid, you're having quite a difficult time in your first NFL game, and you come back and you show some real balls and win the game. So fair play, JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, indeed. And Jordan Mason, really good in this game. 68 yards, 15 carries for Jordan Mason.
God, whoever got him in fantasy got a steal. It has to be so.
Yeah, it really is. But we'll move on to our previews. So first one we're going to preview is Green Bay against Washington. This is a really good matchup, a really close matchup. We talked about how impressed we were with Green Bay. So let's move into the Commanders first. They kind of took a while to get going, didn't they, against the Giants? And you mentioned, Jaden Daniels had a lot of pressure to face. He did move through that well. Obviously, he's amazing with his legs and can extend plays like that. But they got going in the end, didn't they? They
did win the game in the end, but it was serious struggles. And I think if they'd faced any half-competent offense, they probably would have lost that game. The Giants' defense was fantastic. I mean, if it wasn't for Russell Wilson, I think the Giants win that game. But obviously, more so focused on the Commanders. Debo looked very, very good, which was very surprising.
That end around that he took was just, the timing on that was just perfect. The play worked absolutely perfectly.
It'd be really, really good if we get kind of old Debo back, throw him in the mix with the likes of McLaurin. His nickname's Bill Krosky Merritt, the rookie running back. He looked really good. I think the Commanders will be okay. And I mean, at the end of the day, they got the win. So for this game though, in particular, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I'm interested in this one because I think we saw when we talked about the front of the Packers, and now with Micah Parsons in there playing, presumably he's going to play more snaps this weekend. Now he's had an extra week in this team. I think he might play as a kind of QB spy role for Jaden Daniels because of his athleticism. And Jaden Daniels obviously can get out of the pocket. I think Micah Parsons might be tasked with just being on Jaden Daniels all game. They might not rush him as much and just use his athleticism to keep Jaden Daniels in the pocket where the likes of Rashawn Gary and Bryant can get to him. Because the Packers' defensive line is good enough to rush him anyway without Micah Parsons. And I think Jaden Daniels might have to rely on the kind of same thing that Jared Goff did, is dumping it off on checkdowns and short routes to the tight end.
I mean, he's got a perfect running back if he wants to do that in Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
So, could definitely see that happening. Because it's at Lambeau, I think
we'll do our predictions.
Sorry.
At the end, but I do think this is a really good matchup and a potential playoff matchup as well at the end of the season. So a really, really interesting. I mean, the Packers have had two really, and if they can come through this game and win this game quite comfortably. Yes, they're both two home games, which obviously does help. But against the Lions and then the Commanders, two playoff teams from last year, a divisional rival, it would be a huge statement if they can go 2-0 playing two really good teams, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they didn't even really utilize their first round pick, did they? So just wait till he gets going as well, because he was
quiet.
a
Yeah, Matthew Golden was quiet in this game. Yeah. Second game we're previewing is the Miami Dolphins against the New England Patriots. Now, I've chosen this game to preview, and you can't wait for this take on the Dolphins.
The floor is yours. I've
chosen this game to preview because after that week one disaster that was the Miami Dolphins, I think this is possibly the biggest game of the week for any team. It's week 2, and for the Dolphins, this game feels like a playoff game, if I'm being completely honest, because if the Dolphins can come out and win this game quite comfortably, which on paper they should do against a growing New England team that didn't really do much at home against the Raiders. The offensive line struggled as well in this game. It won't be forgotten. The week 1 performance won't be forgotten, but it'll be okay. That was a really bad week, and this isn't that team's level, because I don't think that was this team's level. I don't have high hopes for the team, but I don't think we're that bad. I think it was just, for whatever reason, a really, really bad week, and that the Colts were good and they got momentum early. I don't think Tua is as bad as that. I've seen a lot of people saying it was all on Tua. It definitely wasn't. His offensive line wasn't good. They failed to communicate. The one where he gets wiped out from the blind side. I saw, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Cross. He sort of lines up almost like stacked behind the defensive end, and just about a second and a half before the ball snapped, he moves laterally out to the side, and Tua doesn't see it. And Austin Jackson is tasked with, the tight end goes on a route. Austin Jackson's, the right tackle, is tasked with hitting the defensive end first, and then he has to try and come around and block Cross. So I was critical of Austin Jackson, first of all, but when looking at the film, it's not actually his fault. It's Tua doesn't see him move across and doesn't call out or change the protection. So that is on Tua. And I think this game is, if the Dolphins, as I said, if the Dolphins win this game and win it comfortably, or just win this game, it puts to bed some of the, oh my God, they're an absolute disaster. If they don't, and they come out and it's a similar performance, then it's really, really pressure on. Like, Mike McDaniel's seat is boiling hot if they lose this game, especially at home. So I think, and for New England, this is a perfect time to play them because all the pressure is on the Dolphins.
How much stock would you put in that McDaniel's is brilliant, Miami's weapons are brilliant, and Tua is just not good?
But he has shown
the ability to be very good at a specific scheme built for him, based on his abilities.
Yeah,
and he's lucky enough. McDaniel's
that's what Brady was. Brady wasn't the most. Brady's not the most talented quarterback we've ever seen. He was a serial winner for one. And he was a smart player who was built for that system and played within that system and was successful and had a great team around him. He's not the most talented quarterback.
Brady would have 100% have seen that D-line move and called a pass protection. Absolutely. So,
but what was the question? Sorry.
How much stock are you putting into the fact? Do you think it's just? Are you saying 33% McDaniel, 33% to a 33% supporting cast, or like, is it 70% on Tua and McDaniel's actually being given the shit end of the stick?
I think the Colts did in this game what I think the Colts executed our offense. That it was Danny Dimes got the ball out quickly. He got it out on short routes. They ran the ball well on times to keep the defense off balance, and they just built down the field. And they kind of executed our offense. Tua is known for, he gets the ball out quickly. He didn't do that in this game. That's why he was sacked so much. That's why the pressure got there. Now, whether, you can't see the receivers downfield when you watch it on TV, but like whether the coverage was that good, but there's got to be another option there's got to be a check down option somewhere. There has to be something, or he has to use his legs. He has to do something. So I think he was obviously really poor in this game. But I do think the scheme and the offense that Mike McDaniel called in this game wasn't good either. And then I think Anthony Weaver's defense is caught between, we've had 1 year of Brian Flores, ultra aggressive, blitz heavy defense, and then we went to Vic Fangio, who's just going to sit in a too high shell and barely ever blitz. So they went from one extreme to the other, and now Anthony Weaver's defense is kind of somewhere in between. And these two these defenders don't know what they're doing. The defense, I think, is the problem. It's a big part of the problem. The defense is so soft in coverage. I mean, we gave up 7 out of 7 scoring drives. Even if the offense plays well, we've conceded 30 odd points against, the Colts. The Colts offense is not loaded with weapons. Yes, they were good in this game, but you can't be conceding 30 points to that offense. So I think the defense is more of a problem. So they're going to need to step up in this game, I think. And that's why I think it's really interesting. It's kind of do or die, I think, for Miami, even this early. I really do.
Week 2.
I really do. Just the way, because I think it gets even more toxic if they lose this game.
To be honest, if you sack McDaniel, whoever gets him is getting a brilliant coach. That's my opinion.
He's a really smart guy. But apparently
he'll probably be made an OC rather than a head coach.
Yeah,
and wherever his offense will be absolutely brilliant wherever he lands.
That's the argument. Is he's a brilliant OC. He's not a head coach. You saw Tyreek Hill's reaction on the sideline. He's throwing.
He's a knob.
Throwing his teddies out of the pram, and it's just toxic. The whole place is toxic at the moment. And I think if we lose Sunday, it gets even more toxic, and that just is going to fester, and it's just going to build and build and build, and it'll be a disaster of a season. So I think it is must win on Sunday to try and just temper some of those, some of that fire really that's coming up.
Who would have thought Tyreek landing in Miami would be causing all sorts of issues? In Kansas City, he probably was as well, but obviously Miami is just that bit more extreme.
Moving on. So third game we're going to look at is the Bengals against your Jacksonville Jaguars. This is an interesting one. In Cincinnati, you're going on the road. You've got to be confident in this game.
I think it's predicted as one of the highest scoring games of the week, which is really interesting. Yeah, I mean, their defense isn't that great based on historical evidence and last week in particular. We have an opportunity to just run the ball down their throats, and I like that. So, yeah, I'm actually excited to play this team. I think it could be a very sneaky win. But there is obviously the chance that Joe Burrow just lights us on fire as well. So have to see.
Yeah, I think in terms of your offense against their defense, if you can keep Trey Hendrickson out of the game, there's been a lot of criticism of the Bengals linebackers and the DBs can't tackle. So if you can establish that run game and get into the secondary, there is huge opportunities for you to make big plays, and obviously down the field as well, with BTJ, who was fairly quiet on the weekend, wasn't he, against
Very
Carolina?
Quiet.
He got a touchdown in the end. I think, in the end, and Travis Hunter was kind of quiet as well, a little bit.
So Hunter actually did get a lot of completions, but he's playing a role of like the choice route sort of guy, the slot receiver,
yes.
Very much like Amon-Ra. Find the holes in the zone, sit there, make the catch because he's great at making catches, and try to break some tackles. And I think he's trying some stuff that he was doing in college, like spinning out and stuff, where he usually wouldn't get tackled, and he is getting tackled. But I do think he will adapt to the league and the physicality and start getting some serious yards after catch.
And this is, as you mentioned, Bengals notoriously slow starters. This is probably for you guys a really good time to play them. Like you must be kind of not licking your lips almost, because it's still we know what this offense can do. So it's still a very dangerous team, and I think they'll be really keen to improve on that week 1 performance, because it wasn't good and they should have lost that game really. But yeah, a really interesting one early on in the season. And again, another potential playoff matchup, this one. The Jags have impressed in week 1. Yes, it's Carolina. Okay, so we're not going to get too ahead of ourselves with that. But we've talked about the optimism that you Duval fans have around this team. And I wouldn't. Yeah, I think I put you in the playoffs in my rankings. So my prediction. So yeah, absolutely wouldn't surprise me if you guys end up in the playoffs with the Bengals. So moving on to the Detroit Lions against the Chicago Bears, and we've talked about the Lions fairly extensively tonight. What about the Bears? We touched on them with Caleb Williams. Were you impressed by the Bears? Do you see why there's optimism around this team, or are you kind of left a little bit disappointed with the way that they threw that game away, or seemed to wilt a little bit in the second half?
Oh, I think Caleb Williams shows the ability to look like one of the best players on the planet. Like, he can do the Mahomes stuff, the Josh Allen stuff, that edge factor. He's got that. But he just also doesn't do the simple stuff. He doesn't throw to the open receiver. He misses the open receiver. He also paints his nails, and he has terrible drip. What is he wearing? A grey undershirt with a black sleeve. Dead.
The game's not played in the shopping mall. It's
but come on, these are NFL players. They get the kit handed to them, and most NFL players is to clean. He just looked like he finished a PE lesson.
Cam Newton looks like a GTA character every time he goes on the telly. He got to a Super Bowl. He was pretty good.
That's off the field. I don't really care about that.
Yes, to the Lions. This is a pretty good matchup actually after week 1, isn't it? Where
I would really like to see Ben Johnson give Dan Campbell the middle finger a little bit.
Of course, it is. I almost forgot that it is the return of Ben Johnson to Detroit as well, and I don't think.
Will there be a cupping of the year from Ben Johnson this time?
I don't think he left that ceremoniously, did he? I think there is a bit of.
He went to the Bears.
Yeah, I think Aaron Glenn's off the hook because he hasn't gone to a divisional rival.
Yeah,
but if he's offered a head coach job, you can't begrudge him a head coach wherever it is.
He was offered plenty of head coaching jobs.
Yeah, but he's got to pick the right one for what he wants, and it's like. You look at that kind of project, if you like, in Chicago. I can totally see why you wanted to take that job. So, a really fascinating battle. I think both teams really. I mean, we've talked about it at length. This NFC North is going to be really, really close, and we think that these 4 teams are going to be good, and they're going to take wins off each other at points in this season. Maybe the Packers have put their head above the parapet a little bit above these other 3 from what we've seen in week 1, maybe. But this, I think, is a huge game in terms of how this division is going to shape up. And Detroit will be really keen, I think, to put to bed those kind of we've lost our 2 coordinators, especially if their coordinator who they've lost goes and beats them. I think if Detroit can win this game, it's kind of a little bit of a hush to the haters. And
I'm assuming it's in Detroit.
It's in Detroit, yeah.
If it was in Chicago, I think the Bears would definitely win this game. But because it's in Detroit, that might kind of turn the table a little bit. So, bold prediction. What is Ben Johnson going to do?
We'll do it at the end. Wait.
No. Is he going to knee slide? Is that what I'm asking?
All right. Okay. No, because I don't think he's that kind of guy. I think Aaron Rodgers is that kind of guy.
I'll see you next Tuesday.
I will. I'll be interested to see the handshake between Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson at the end.
It would be like Conte and Tuchel. I don't know if you remember. We can all have a push and a pull. Just...
or what's it called? John Terry and Patrice Evra.
He just
goes along the line and just doesn't shake his hand. I think it won't be. Appreciate you, brother. Blah, blah, blah. You guys are awesome, brother. Mad respect, brother. It'll just be a very nice game, whatever, and then move on. I think because the cameras are going to
see you in X amount of weeks. Time.
The cameras are going to be whatever the result is. The cameras are going to be on that, right? So it's going to be prime time. I think they'll both be aware of that as well, and they'll just be good game. See you down the line. So we'll wait for that one to come true, and I'll it's not so much of a clip, that is it? It's not so exciting.
We said that they would say good game to each other. Clip that. Okay. Chat, clip that.
There you go.
Shall we move on to our predictions?
We got one more game just to run through quickly before we do. The Chiefs against the Eagles, a repeat of the Super Bowl early on in the season. We have to talk about this game. Chiefs at home, 0-1, Eagles 1-0, without Jalen Carter, obviously, for this game. And interesting one again, because I was underwhelmed by the Eagles. I was underwhelmed by the Chiefs. And this is a big, big matchup in week 2, especially for the Chiefs with the pressure on having lost that game.
Yeah. I'd be really interested to see if it ends up being a high-scoring game or not, because it could very easily turn into a bit of a snooze fest. So, definitely an interesting game.
I think it'll be a tentative game. I think both teams will be very aware of each other, obviously, from that Super Bowl. Yes, it was 7 months ago or whatever it is now, but it was still only 2 games ago, right? I don't
know what. I don't feel very excited for that game. It just feels like, oh yeah, all right. I don't know.
I don't feel terribly excited for any Chiefs game, to be honest. Because they're not like it. They're not really that exciting anymore to watch. They're not like the Bills or the Ravens, where you've got like Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's almost like a steam train getting up. Once he gets up to speed, it's just no stopping him. Or Josh Allen, getting out of plays, mad plays. Yes, Mahomes can make some really splash plays. Jalen Hurts isn't greatly exciting. Saquon Barkley's exciting, obviously. Kelsey's obviously lost his edge. From he's now in fantasy, was he like an 8th round pick, 9th round pick, where he used to be in the first round? He used to be going in the first round only like 2 or 3 years ago as well. This game is going to be dominated by Taylor Swift's engagement to him as well. So all the Swifties are going to be out. So I get where you're coming from, where there's kind of elements of this game I'm not looking forward to, but it is the Chiefs and the Eagles. It is a repeat of the Super Bowl. And I think it's more important for the grand scheme of things and how the season's going to end up with these 2 teams. But if we've got not much more to say on that, we'll move on to our predictions. So first game, Thursday night, Packers Commanders. I'm going to go Packers. I'm going to go. I think close game. I think they keep the momentum going at Lambeau.
Because it's at Lambeau, I'm saying Packers as well.
Cowboys, Giants. Cowboys.
At Dallas?
Yeah.
Cowboys. Yeah.
That's more hesitation on that one than I thought. Steelers, Seahawks in Pittsburgh. Steelers, 100%. Easy.
I
liked a lot of what Seattle did in this game.
Please pick Seattle. Pick Seattle, please.
Their defense looks nice.
Go on, go Seattle.
I'm going to go Seattle. I'm going to do it.
Okay. Thanks for the free point.
Titans, Rams. Jets, Bills,
yeah. Although, Bills.
Yeah, Bills, yeah. Come on.
Jets did look good, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit. I think it's going to be a bit of a rough start for the Jets. Probably not what they perhaps deserve and what they've been playing like. But
yeah, 0-2, and they probably are performing well.
It's the Jets. Good enough for them. Dolphins, Patriots. Oh,
I'm waiting for you.
I don't know.
In New England or in Miami?
No, in Miami.
I'll make it easy. I'll go Dolphins.
I'm gonna. Please don't let me down again. I'm gonna pick a bounce back. Very narrow. Field goal. Terrible. Like
it's hard because everyone's been
17-14. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Bengals, Jags. I'm taking your boys.
Are you?
Yes.
My guy. Obviously, I'm picking Jags to win.
Saints, 49ers.
49ers, yeah.
2 road games for the 49ers, 2 home games for the Saints. Ravens, Browns. Ravens,
yeah. I actually think it will be closer than you think, but Ravens.
In Baltimore, I don't think it will be.
Fair enough.
They got that, the Ravens have got an offense that can crucify the Browns.
Browns have a good defense.
And a defense that can crucify their offense.
Joe Flacco, man. The revenge game.
It is, yeah. It is. Lions, Bears. Oof.
I'm letting you go, and then I'm going to weigh up whether I want to.
No,
take
you go
risk.
first. You can go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Fine. Because it's in Detroit.
I don't know. This is.
Honestly, can you imagine the scenes if Ben Johnson beats Dan Campbell in Detroit? The Bears are forever laughingstock in the NFC North of recent times, and that sends the Lions back down to the bottom of the NFC North. Iconic moment, however unlikely. I'm probably going to go with the Lions.
I'm going to go with the Lions as well. I think I think potentially overtime game. Potentially. Colts, Broncos. Ooh, this is a tasty one. Colts at home.
Broncos.
I'm gonna go with the Colts. I'm gonna stick with their.
They just played a dog shit team in week 1.
I don't think the Broncos are gonna be. I've said I think they kind of overachieved last season. Yes, the defense is very good, but I think they overachieved a little bit. The Colts defense looked really good as well. I'm going to go Colts.
I'm not that high on the Colts. I just
neither am I. But I think they've got momentum at the moment. I think
you have to say that in hopes that it's just not to do with Miami. Absolutely. Colts are actually a pretty good team, man.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't us who's anything how good the Colts were. Cardinals, Panthers. Cardinals.
In Carolina?
No.
Yeah, Cardinals.
Chiefs.
Both small QBs.
Yeah, very small QBs. Chiefs, Eagles.
In Kansas City.
Yeah. Chiefs.
Is there a world where the Chiefs go 0-2 to start the season?
I think they come back.
We've pretty much picked the same teams throughout, haven't we? Have we had any different teams?
The Colts, you said the Broncos. Yeah, I think that's.
Oh, and I said Steelers. You said Seahawks.
Yes. So we got.
So you gave me a gimme with the Steelers are definitely winning that game.
No,
I'll give you the Chiefs, and I'm going to say the Eagles.
Okay. Vikings, Falcons. Ooh, another tasty one. That is a tasty one in Minnesota.
In Minnesota, give me the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm gonna. But I do think the Falcons they're kind of my dark horse this season. The Falcons. I think they could be quite good down the stretch.
I'll even go the extra mile with the predictions. Brian Flores fucks with Michael Penix big time. Throws all sorts of stuff at him, and Michael Penix has a somewhat down game. Although I did think he was very good. I'm not taking anything away from it. But I think Brian Flores is going to mess with his head a bit.
That one is that one's the Sunday night primetime game, so that'll be a good one to watch. Texans Bucks again. That's a close, tasty matchup. That one.
Bucks.
Yeah. Oh, in Houston.
Pick Houston, man.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go. I mean, they took a little bit of time to warm up, but like I like Emeka Ibuka. I thought he was awesome. I liked a lot on the defense. Yeah, I'll go Bucks as well.
I don't think Houston's very good. I think Houston's actually quite rubbish.
And then lastly, the Monday Night Football game. I'm just going to toss that to the side. The late Monday Night Football game. This is actually two Monday Night Football games. The Texans Bucks and the Raiders Chargers. I think this is a really good team this year. Chargers.
I think I will have to agree and be boring and say the Chargers as well.
So the scores are currently 13-14, 14 to you. So you're one up on me at the season so far this season. But yeah, we got 13 and 14 right in week 1 out of 16 is pretty good. So yeah, anyone who says we don't know ball is lying. I'm dining out on my week 1 performance already. So that's going to bring to an end a preview and review show of week 1 and previewing week 2. Lots of games to look forward to this weekend, and we'll see you again next week when I will be in Slovenia.